Hello everyone, welcome to From the Star Wars Home Video Library. I'm your host Nathan B. Butler, again looking for recommendations on a single lamp source of light that would basically fix the lighting issues that we have in this room that is hopefully not overly expensive. I am recording now pretty much exclusively at night, which is making the lighting a huge issue because the lighting in this room is just garbage. It almost reminds me of back whenever I was doing the first videos on this channel, where the fact that the lighting sucked was part of the opening tagline every single time for From the Star Wars Library. Anyway, just putting that out there. So please forgive the lighting, but we're going to take a look this time at actually something that's kind of cool, something I really have been looking forward to finally getting my hands on, something that's also the first item, I believe, going into my collection from Australia. Yeah, down under, mate. Down under. You may recall that one of the more high-end or cool, collector's versions of the original trilogy to get when it came to DVD releases in the US was this. Remember, this was the Best Buy exclusive collector's tin. Basically, you just went in and you bought the individual 2006 DVD releases, those limited editions, the ones, of course, that have the DVD that was already released back in 2004 and reissued in 2005, just packed in again with a new label, and had a bonus disc for each film that was the supposedly unaltered version of the film, which, of course, we know is actually based, except for the opening crawl of A New Hope that was scanned from a film copy that didn't have the subtitle on it, were all based on the 1993 Definitive Collection Laserdisc Master. Okay, we've talked about that plenty of times before. But in the US, at Best Buy, you could get that cool collector's tin to put them in because there was no boxed set that year. In fact, that's the only year of the DVD releases that there wasn't a boxed set. We had a box set in 04, a box set in 05, a box set in 08, not in 06, unless you got this in the US. However, that wasn't the only place you could get it. If you were to be in the UK, you could have gotten a Region 2 set, which was this, right? We saw this previously, how it has the cardboard piece on it and all. We recently looked at it and how its contents, its shape, its way of opening and such slightly differ from the US version. But both of those were in 2006. And Star Wars Home Video, it kind of frustrates me sometimes. Because in 1977, that's when A New Hope comes out. 10 years later, 10th anniversary, they really didn't have much in the way of new Star Wars Home Video releases, except at least with Return of the Jedi finally hitting home video in 1986. They started advertising the fact that at least you could buy all three now, separately, as of 1987 to celebrate the 10th anniversary. So at least there was that. And of course, the 20th anniversary was, now, for its 20th anniversary, see it again for the first time, and all that stuff with the special editions. So it made sense. Special editions hit theaters, came out on home video. 97, 20th anniversary had something for home video that was kind of cool, at least if you like the special editions and so on. Then you jump to 2007. Hello? 30th anniversary? Nobody seems to give a damn. Because in the US, it actually wound up being the 1 year without a reissue of the original trilogy in those 4 years. 2004, 2005, 2008. The actual anniversary year didn't get a release. Bizarre timing. But of course, we also found that in 2017, for the 40th anniversary, we didn't see a big home video release either, except for the film that had come out in recent memory. We didn't get an original trilogy set reissued of any kind as some kind of special 40th anniversary thing. They just don't seem to give a crap about anniversaries on the US market for Star Wars home video releases for some reason. We're not talking Disney at this point. This is still 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment when it comes to these releases. That Disney buying out the Fox Entertainment assets thing has not gone through yet as of the time of this recording. They pretty much approved the deal through quite a few of the places that have to approve it, but not all, so it has not fully gone through. These are decisions made by 20th Century Fox to just not celebrate the anniversaries for the 30th or 40th anniversaries. 40th kind of makes sense because now it's in Disney's camp, so do they want to really do something that's going to give them money but also shed positive light on somebody else's property when it comes to the other Star Wars films and whatnot? But why not the 30th? Why not in 2007? Well, it turns out that it was the US and UK markets that kind of missed the ball on that, but not everyone did. In Australia, they didn't get the collector's tin in 2006 the way that we did in the US or the way that the UK did. Instead, they held off for a year, and they celebrated the 30th anniversary with their own tin that is a little bit different than what we saw over here. This is the Australian collector's tin. It's the same DVD release. In fact, it's the same DVD authoring basically as the UK discs as far as the language selection as opposed to options being the way that they phrase it, what languages are there, what subtitles are there, all that kind of stuff, the warnings at the beginning, all of that. Same disc authoring. We're to find that the disc labels are different, the packaging is slightly different, and so is the collector's tin. Because check out this collector's tin, what makes it different than all the others, aside from the sticker on it. Notice it is still the same design as what we've seen twice before, but at the top there, 30th anniversary. And whereas the UK version, I took off the little cardboard thing, is not embossed at all on the front there, and the US one is embossed for at least the Star Wars logo, the Australian one is embossed for the logo and 30th anniversary up at the top. This is part of the packaging. This is not something like a sticker or something that is added on. The sticker there is an Australian rating. Okay? PG, medium level violence. Okay? As for the tin itself, looks a lot like what we saw actually from the UK version. Remember, the US version, you could open it from either side, front or back. So it really didn't have a bottom or a top, kind of, because you could open it either way. This one is much more like the UK version. The back does not open, only the front flap does. So the front looks very similar. The side here, Lucasfilm logo, Star Wars Trilogy, the 3 film names with the numbers behind them, 20th Century Fox, Home Entertainment logo down there at the bottom. The other spine, very similar, except between Episode 6 Return of the Jedi, of course, and the other logo, we have a sticker, just like the sticker is on the front, of the PG rating for Australia. The top, notice if I take it with the back showing to you and I turn it, Star Wars Trilogy is upside down. I say that to note it because if you do that with the US version, it's right side up. If I do that with the UK version, it's right side up. Okay, so this may look like the same collector's tin as the UK, but it's not, because you get the embossing of the symbol, you got a flipped upside down Trilogy logo on the top, and you've got that embossed 30th anniversary as well. The back, what we'd expect, no embossing or anything here, but notice the bottom is blank. On the US and UK tins, the logo is down there again, same as up at the top. Not on the Australian one. Again, you cannot open it from the back, you have to open it from the front. This one actually included the little slip that was attached to the back when I bought it. The person who originally had it kept this on there. I peeled it off to show you the back. But you have your sort of advertising bits there and telling us what exactly it is that's inside it. So, experience the Star Wars saga like never before. Includes digitally remastered and original theatrical movies. Kind of. Shows us the different products with a description of each film, showing us the Australian version of each, although I would note here that if you look at those Australian versions, there's a 30th anniversary symbol on each one that's not actually on the products themselves. Tech specs for disc 1 and the bonus disc for each, right? So what to expect on the first disc, the 2004 disc basically for each one, and then for the bonus disc with the unaltered supposedly version. Your symbols down there for 20th Century Fox and whatnot, copy protection and so on, Dolby Digital, Lucasfilm, DVD, THX, and so on. You have more about your rating information, just says parental guidance recommended in the yellow here. UPC and legalese down there at the bottom. That would just be stuck by a couple of little glue spots, as you can see, leaving the residue here onto the back of the collector's tin it's meant to be taken off. Now, as for the individual film releases, the design is a little bit different than what we saw before. We'll use A New Hope as the example here, starting with the US. In the US, it was that widescreen in white and limited edition in black inside the gold area up at the top. Okay. Then digitally mastered for superior blah 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 for THX down at the bottom. We had our image here with the title, Star Wars logo, and the number behind it up here. Our spine, 20th Century Fox, Star Wars A New Hope 4, and then down here you've got a THX symbol and Lucasfilm symbol, just hard for me to see it looking at the screen there. Then on the back, your tagline, info about the film, Disc 1 and Disc 2 information, cast crew information, logo for the film, legalese and whatnot, and they've covered up the UPC symbol, which they don't do with the Australian version of it. The UK version, you may recall, and this one still has its sticker on it, has a sticker on it rather than the sticker being on the shrink wrap. Okay, has the UK and Ireland ratings on here, of course. Still has the THX stuff at the bottom, but you notice up at the top, it doesn't say widescreen limited edition, it just says limited edition. Then on the back, similar layout pretty much, except of course to make room for the ratings, they had to shift stuff around a tiny, tiny bit and not covering up the UPC. Okay. And then we've got our spine, again having to do a little bit of shifting around to make room for the ratings on it. But you've got 20th Century Fox logo, Star Wars A New Hope 4, THX Lucasfilm ratings, and product number there. The one from Australia is still a little bit more different. If you think of sort of the UK one as a step away in terms of difference from the US, take it another step away and you get the Australian one. This is the Australian design. Once again, limited edition is up there on the top in black, but in the gold bar, kind of like it was on the UK one. But at the bottom, I guess to make room for the rating there, it doesn't have the THX thing, right? Instead, it just has the DVD symbol down here. And they actually moved the THX thing outside of a colored bar to underneath the limited edition. And then gave themselves some space to then put in the art with the name. And then down here on the bottom, okay, not as a sticker, we've got our rating, which again is PG medium level violence. Then the spine, again having to make room for a rating here. 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment, Star Wars A New Hope 4, THX logo, Lucasfilm logo, then the product number, then the rating again of PG. The back, barcode has been moved down. We've got our rating information or the parental guidance information down here. Legalese kind of shoved off to the side over there. Our logo, cast crew information, disc information, tagline, and description. So similar information, but arranged in a slightly different way, as we tend to see here. Now, what about the actual discs themselves? Again, the disc authoring, that is the content of the discs when you actually put them in a player, is basically the same for these discs as they are for the UK. However, it is a different region. For DVD, regions matter because that's going to determine what player you can play them in. These are PAL, not NTSC, right? So it's not like the US and Japan where it was NTSC and it was just a question of region. These are PAL, like the UK, hence being able to be authored the same way, which makes perfect sense. But these are region 4. Australia is region 4. All right, so how about those disc labels? US disc label, right? This is when they finally went totally gold, basically, and added the FBI warning. So we have Star Wars 4, A New Hope, Disc 1, FBI label with legalese warning and whatnot down there. That's for the US. And yes, the US version has the little insert in it. For the UK, lighter coloration, Star Wars 4, A New Hope, DVD, copy protection, region 2 PAL, ratings, product number, legalese, right there underneath. Nothing saying disc 1, nor saying widescreen. It says widescreen above the Roman numeral on the US version and does not on the UK one. I'm assuming, and UK viewers correct me if I'm wrong, that's because I guess full screen wasn't available in 2006 in the UK. It had already died, maybe, for DVD. So maybe they didn't need to call out that it's widescreen because it was the only option there was. You tell me. And yes, the UK one has its version of the insert. And then we have the, again, more different Australian one. Same art, basically, but a lot of stuff shifted around. They've shifted the 4 Star Wars A New Hope underneath the circle, underneath the hole. A lot more legalese running around the edges. We have our rating of PG over here. And then above, you've got, show you here, then tell you what it is. There you go. Lucasfilm, 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment, copy protection, product number, DVD symbol, PAL region 4. But then in between, it says DVD9, dual layer single-sided disc, layer transition may trigger a slight pause. They're actually warning you of that and the type of disc on the disc itself, which is unusual in my experience, at least in the US market. And while this does still use an ARM, like the US and UK versions do, notice it is that clear plastic as opposed to black. So you've got some Starfield behind stuff and some instructions on, literally instructions on how to take the discs out and put them back in, just in case you're dumb or something. But notice, no insert. As for the bonus discs, again, US, FBI warning, legalese to the FBI warning, got the logo and everything down directly underneath the hole, and it says bonus disc, a tiny amount of legalese along the edge at the bottom. The UK, logo down at the bottom with bonus disc, ratings off to the right, DVD, region 2, PAL, and copy protection notice on the left. A little bit more legalese running along the bottom edge. Then Australia. Nope. Come on. Got our copy protection, DVD, and region 4, PAL over there to the left of the hole. PG directly underneath. Directly under the hole, again, there's our logo and everything with bonus disc, so that's the same. It's going to tell us what type of disc it is. Over off to the side, same thing with the product number here about the layer transition and all. And then a lot more legalese running around that bottom edge. And remember, whereas the content in terms of the movie and the bonus features were all the same across these regions, remember that on the US bonus disc, there's a demo for the second LEGO Star Wars video game that's playable if you put the disc into an Xbox. On the other hand, in the UK and in Australia, it's a PC demo. Still on the disc, still the same game, different place you could play it. The differences will continue in the same style, so we won't look at the differences on every single disc or package, but let's take a look at what Empire and Jedi look like. The Australian 2007 version of The Empire Strikes Back laid out very much like what we saw with A New Hope. Same thing on the spine. Same thing with a slight alteration to the back. Again, clear case. No insert. Empire. And then the Empire bonus disc. And I'm not kidding when I talk about what's on that little thing behind it. That thing at the top has a companion piece at the bottom. The top says, removing the disc from this case. Press the button at the center of the disc with your forefinger. What if I want to use my thumb? And disc will pop up. Use your thumb and forefinger to pick up the disc and remove it for play. And then the bottom, caution, improper use may permanently damage your disc. And it gives you care tips for your disc. Alright, sure, whatever. You're not supposed to use it as a coaster or for skate shooting? Why did you tell me in the first place? Mate, wrong accent, wasn't it? Then here, we've got Return of the Jedi. It's set up in a similar fashion. And the discs. Notice this one actually moves a lot of stuff up above the hole to make room for Vader's face, so it's not covering it up. Classy of them. So yes, for those looking for a collector's tin for a mid-2000s release of the Star Wars original trilogy on DVD, you can get the US tin from 2006, the UK tin from 2006, or grab the 2007 30th anniversary version out of Australia. In the US, you're going to need a region-free or all-region player to be able to play the UK or the Australian one. So which one of those you get really doesn't make that much of a difference if you're talking about viewing. But do keep in mind that they are different, of course, than the Region 1 release, which you actually could watch on a regular US player. For me, personally, I really dig this one. I've got some other UK stuff in my collection, so having something from Australia is pretty cool to me in general. But the fact that they waited and were kind of smarter about it in terms of playing off the anniversary for this set, I think is actually pretty cool. Although it does mean that I guess they waited an extra year for those unaltered editions to show up, which probably had people pulling their hair out at the time. But looking back on it, 30th anniversary would have been the perfect time to do those releases. They just answered the clamoring crowds and put it out in the US and the UK and some other places in 2006 early. Probably to get people off their backs, which, you know, I guess was understandable. So, with that though, we'll wrap up this episode. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with the home video viewers, including those down under. Now Australia is being added to the collection. Sweet.